My name is Jaden, and I'm here to talk about hypothyroidism. It causes mental health stuff, so it's more of a disease. I would say like sometimes it could also switch to like hyperthyroidism. I just learned that recently. So I would describe it as just ups and downs, because before it would be more like lethargic, be lazy, wouldn't want to work, do anything. And then the hyper would get you like up, heart racing, anxiety, all these different emotions. And then when I went to my doctor, they were talking about how it controls the whole endocrine system. And basically that can like lead to anxiety and all these other emotions. And I would just describe it as like ups and downs and stuff. Really art for me, when I get in the zone and just get to painting, it's just like the in-between. There's no noise, no nothing in my head. It's just there, the paint strokes, just art. So I've been painting for about a year and a half now. I painted my whole life, but actually taking it serious about a year and a half. So for my whole life, it's about like, yeah, so it just gives me peace and time off from all the stress and all the emotions that the thyroidism is giving me. It just gives me peace, honestly. And I wish they would implement more knowledge in the schools, you know, maybe books and stuff, because knowledge is power at the end of the day. The more you understand about it, the more you understand these things, the more you can notice them and take those choices and grow with them. So, especially with like a disease like hypothyroidism, you never know like what's gonna be the next day. Like I know sometimes I'll wake up and only got like 2 hours of sleep because all the night sweats and stuff, and I'm all irritated, I ain't wanting to do nothing. And then next thing you know, like that's just my learning of this is what's causing it, this is what's doing it, this is the reason why, and stuff like that. But there's more knowledge in it. That's all I think about.
My name is Jayla, and today, while I do have a plethora of diagnoses, I will be talking about bipolar disorder. I was diagnosed this past spring, actually, in 2024. Art has a beautiful healing power, and for me, it's played a role in my growth because growing up, I was an art student. And I feel that emotional wounds are intangible, and art can be anything, so art can also be intangible, and you can use that intangible medium to heal yourself and to find things that make you happy and to sew up those wounds that you may have that you can't see or feel, you know? I love to sing, I love to dance, I also love to draw. All of my tattoos, I drew them myself. I love to paint, I love to model, I love to take pictures, I do pretty much everything. Oftentimes when I'm having episodes is when I'm my most creative, so yes, for sure. When I was younger, actually, before I knew that I had bipolar disorder, when I would have manic episodes, I would get very creative, and it would help to keep me grounded and to keep me from going out and doing crazy things or from feeling the ways I was feeling. I think a lot in college I leaned into my art because before I leaned more into my, I would say, intellect and my love for literature. I actually work in the legal field now, but I used to be an art student, and throughout college, art really helped to keep me grounded and just keep me sane. There are two big ways that I have experienced stigma when it comes to mental illness, and I think that the two facets in which I see it often are familial relationships, people that you live with and see often, and romantic relationships. In familial relationships, I find that it manifests as, you have selective hearing, or you're lazy, or things like that, and it's like, no, it's not that. I'm going through something. I'm fighting to get out of bed in the morning. So of course, you know, I may not be the cleanest. I may not be able to do all the things I need to do. And I feel like in romantic relationships, I find that a lot of people shut down when you tell them. It can be very detrimental to be vulnerable and explain to someone like, hey, I have this going on. For me personally, I feel it's made me stronger. It has allowed me to rededicate myself to myself and to not allow the emotions of other people to dictate what I do, or dictate how I feel about myself. That's how it's impacted me. Just to be met with such stigma, it makes you stronger, I feel.
So my name's Irving. I want to talk about panic disorder, anxiety attacks, somatic sensitivity. It was the start of COVID, I want to say. Right before I got kicked off of insurance, I was getting the testing for it, and that's when they diagnosed me with it's somatic sensitivity or somatic symptom disorder. It's a heightened awareness of bodily sensations, so it can cause anxiety and panic attacks in that way. So whenever things feel overwhelming for me, I really reassure myself that it's okay to take a break. I know a lot of people in my personal life feel guilty whenever they take days off of their mental health. They feel like they always have to be productive, and to me, resting is productive. It is a goal because I know a lot of people that will do anything but rest until they're given no choice to. I really think the goal to having an easier time with staying consistent is to know when to take those breaks personally. Everybody has a different language that they speak, and for some people, speaking is enough, like getting the words out, but for other people, they might feel more emotion just sketching something, and the other person might feel more emotion strumming a bass, you know what I mean? Not even making a full song. So it really depends on the medium that the person feels they can express themselves the most through, because some people, they might feel naked doing one thing, and in another way they feel really empowering, or they feel like they can express themselves better doing one thing over another. And that's just the aspect of actual creation, but aside from that, you get community, and that's one of the most important things to do on knowing yourself and knowing your role and knowing that you have support in ways that you might not have been seen before. Yeah, so I did a lot of nature walks because when I got kicked off the insurance, I couldn't quite get the proper treatment anymore. And I found nature walks to be one of the most surprisingly fulfilling treatments I could have did to myself. It's one thing to sit in a room and practice mindfulness, which I'm not knocking down that at all. I think that's also really useful. But when I would be in nature and I'd hear the sounds of birds and stuff, and I was out in San Marcos where it's really easy to find a nature trail or a river, it makes you feel connected, and it takes off that pressure of always having that readiness to be in society when you know you're just completely alone. I think it's really important to just undress yourself entirely and look at yourself for who you are. And I also would say somatic therapy. So that's anything that involves feeling the emotion in your body. I think that the mental physical connection is one that's very important, and it can't be understated. And I found a lot of relief sometimes if I can't work through something mentally or I can't journal it out. Just stretching or feeling that thing where it resides in your body and really envisioning it, I think it can be pretty helpful too. You can't brute force it, you know what I mean? That was one of the biggest things I learned. My whole mental health came crashing down during college, and in college, I was studying super hard. I was in the library every day I did computer science, so I was trying to get all them assignments done. And that put me in this mindset of, and I think it's an okay mindset to have, of just pure grit. Like anything you put your mind to, you can get done. And with mental health, it kind of challenged that a bit, because my idea of that was I can do anything if I stay consistent, and mental health forces you to not be consistent. Like it is a up and down kind of battle. One day you could be like perfectly fine, and the next day it's like you're a whole different person. And so it really taught me that one, you can't quantify your own accomplishments by how you feel on a day-to-day basis. It's easy to look at something and feel despair, but you really got to look at things objectively sometimes and look at the bigger picture. And secondly, it taught me to take things slow. Like I said, you can't brute force it. You can't speed run recovery. You can't just journal and do this work. And you can do it as much as you need to, but you're gonna need a rest sometimes. And you're gonna need to fall back on, I like to call them like emergency habits, to where like when you're just at the rock bottom, it's certain things that you have in line for yourself. It's just certain routines you have to fall back on whenever you're at the lowest of your low. And that's what it taught me personally.
My name is Dylan, and I'm here to talk about, I guess, overall depression or anxiety, or the struggles with addiction. With depression and anxiety, I was diagnosed with that when I was around 12 or 13, I want to say, maybe 14. And at the time, I didn't really understand it. I was just kind of like, whatever, like, fuck y'all, like, I don't care. And then growing up and then realizing, like, the kind of cycles I go through mentally and physically even, how they affect me in my life and, like, the things I like to do, the relationships I have with the people I care about, and stuff like that. But I know as an adult and, you know, facing it, it's something you can never really get rid of it. It doesn't ever go away. You just learn to live with it. You learn to, in a way, make it your superpower, make it your weapon, because everything that is given to us, everything balances out. Every gift we received and every curse we've received, everything balances out, and no matter where you started, where you end up is entirely up to you, no matter what hand of cards you were dealt with. It's free to not be an asshole, basically. Becoming in more of a habit of creating rather than just sporadically creating. Because I've noticed when I realize that I'm getting depressed or I'm getting back into that cycle where I'm not taking care of myself, doing very good mentally, keeping up with college, keeping up with work, all that stuff, is when I haven't been creative. One thing that I define a good day is a day I get to be creative, a day I get to use my sewing machine, or a day I get to just use the outlet I was naturally given to express the things I've gone through or the things I'm feeling. If I wasn't like crazy or whatever, I would probably be like really boring. I probably wouldn't be here right now. I don't know, I think it definitely gives me a little flair, a little spice, you know, you never know what's next. I keep people on their toes. That's my favorite thing to do. You never know what I'm gonna do next. It's sporadic. I think just watching the people I interact with in life, whether it's been like past friends or even current friends, watching them have things happen to them and overcome it and grow to be stronger than they were before. It's very inspiring to see stuff like that. Or even, you could look at any successful person and think this. Like, Adriana Lima started by selling like fruits on the side of the road, and then someone was like, hey, you're pretty, you should be a model. And then look at her now. Like, I think just having someone believe in you is really powerful. And I don't know, like, you don't need someone to believe in you as long as you believe in yourself, because realistically, no one's gonna do it for you. You have to believe in yourself for anyone to believe in you. Everything, fuck all, none of that matters. Like, all that matters is right here, right now. I got my bands, I got my bitches, I got my art. Find a creative outlet or find some sort of outlet, whether it's something athletic, something creative like sewing, painting, music, anything, any kind of outlet. Because at first, even if you're a beginner, especially if you're a beginner, you're gonna be shit, but the more you do it, the better you're gonna get, and you're just gonna be like, wow, this is fucking cool. I'm not sad anymore. That, and one thing I wish that I could tell myself back when I was really going through it, which was like, end of 2023, pretty much all of 2024, is it's okay to be alone. You're pretty cool. You should hang out with yourself more. You should, you know, explore what you like to do, up aside from like, whether it's, you know, going to the club or going to bars, hanging with friends, you know, stuff like that. Like, one thing I found helpful is just writing down like anything I've ever wanted to do, and then writing down the things I could literally do that are on that list. And then just knock them off one by one, because you can sit here being like, oh, I want to do this, oh, I want to do that. Congrats, I want a fucking Corvette or some shit, you know, I want a fucking Hellcat. How you gonna get it? I don't know, like, life sucks and then you die. You might as well make the most of it. You might as well have good memories to die with. I try to live life with no regrets, so yeah, make art, be sexy, and be yourself, I guess. Yeah, You're a wanted one. Might as well be the wanted one you're meant to be.
First off, I just want to say thank you all for coming out. This was a very, very stressful day. Like, I'm not gonna lie, crazy stressful, but we ended up, pulling it off. Everything went smoothly. First of all, y'all look amazing. I just wanted to talk a bit about this show, the themes, the points. So I titled it Art Therapy, Chapter 2, when I opened my eyes. My art exhibitions are kind of under a book title, which is Art Therapy. This is Chapter 2. Chapter 1 was Skeletons and Souls, and all of these are kind of meant to just touch on things people relate to, emotional things that everybody struggles with, because I believe that we are all more alike than we think. A lot of my pieces are my expression of what I've been through, what I've experienced, and just my way of understanding life and just putting it on a canvas, because I think I feel a little differently. So, and I just want to say thank you to all my models. Y'all did amazing. Can y'all give a round of applause? To some of my designers, Fadwa, can you come up? Mateo. So for some of the looks, I had them upcycle some pieces. This skirt, Mateo upcycled this piece. Everyone who was in Fadwa's line, can y'all come out too? So Fadwa upcycled these pieces. So a part of the show, yeah, I'll give a round of applause. So another thing I wanted to do with the show is highlight, the talent in Houston, because I think Houston definitely has, an untapped community of very, very talented, creative individuals. And my mission is just to kind of push that, inspire people to, put the right foot forward, just try. But this only works through collaboration. So network, meet people, collaborate with them, and put your effort into everything you do, because that's the only way it's gonna work. And Daniel, all my staffers, can y'all come out too? Another thing that I wanted to highlight is you're gonna need a team for whatever you do. And I want to thank everybody who's a part of this project. I had a couple of my friends interview and just share some personal things that they've gone through, some advice they would give to others, because although you may see somebody on the front, you never know what they're going through. Everybody goes through something different. So I want to say, have grace for people. But that's pretty much all I have to say for today. But thank you all so much for coming out tonight. Okay, I think my dad wants me to say something. Okay, so these are my parents. Sorry. I have the best parents in the world. I have the most hardworking parents in the world. They inspire me every day. My dad has a non-profit where he goes to Niger State to help the community back there, the less fortunate, the girls. My mom has a clinic where she helps people in A-Leaf. And yeah, so they also giving back, healthcare, mental health. Me personally, I went to school, I was a biology major, and I plan on pursuing, a master's in psychology, maybe PhD, we'll see. But yeah, I want all my art to kind of correlate. So if you're kind of wondering like why my art is the way it is, I hope this gives you a better answer. So thank you all so much, and have a great day.